For clubs consistently in the bottom half of the table, they live on a knife's edge. Because honestly, there's nothing worse than regulation for both the fans and the club itself. Some clubs are used to facing relegation, but they're usually the smaller ones. However, did you know that some of the biggest clubs with multiple titles, including Champions Leagues, to their name have faced this humiliation? From Manchester United and Bayern to Italian clubs going down due to scandals, here are the biggest clubs that have been relegated. Manchester United. With 13 league titles won since 1992, Manchester United is by far the most successful team in the Premier League era. The team never came in worse than third place under Sir Alex Ferguson, and in his final year at the Old Trafford, United won the league. It's difficult to believe that a club this successful could be demoted, yet it has happened more than once. Although United has recently faced some challenges, they have faced far worse in the past. Since their establishment as a club in 1878, they have been demoted 5 times, including once when operating under the name Newton Heath LYR-FC. The Red Devils were most recently demoted in the 1973-74 campaign, finishing in 21st place with only 32 points. That season, the Red Devils went winless in 20 games, including their 3-0 loss to Arsenal in the season opener and their 1-0 defeat to Stoke City in the season finale. Manchester City. The next club on our list is not too far away from the last one. Manchester City, United's neighbors and current rivals, were not quite the force they are today when they were demoted in 1996. After a few close calls, they were eliminated from the Premier League in 1996 based on a goal differential. Despite high expectations of an immediate return, 5 different managers and some drastic roster reshuffles led to a forgettable first year away. City spent big for the second season, determined to push on from the mid-table finish. Nevertheless, despite having players like Georgi Kinkladze remaining on the team, City's 1998 campaign was among the worst in recent memory. When the team expected to succeed, poor performance, a string of injuries, and egregious underperformance created hostile environments and frequent fan protests against the board. All of this resulted in an unexpected 22nd place finish and relegation to the 3rd division. In spite of one more Premier League relegation, City's fortunes improved after back-to-back promotions, and the club remained a mid-tabletop tier team until their lucrative takeover in 2008. FC Bayern Munich. We're sure this is one club you didn't expect to see on the list, but once again, we are here to surprise you. While FC Bayern Munich may currently be unstoppable, things for the club weren't always that rosy. In 1955, the Bavarians suffered relegation into the 2nd division of the Bundesliga. At a period when Germany was grappling with post-war financial problems and other things, the club finished in 16th position. The team didn't stay in 2nd level for very long. The very following year, FCB was promoted to regain its position in German football's top division. Some younger fans might find it difficult to accept that Bayern, that has won 10 straight leagues, was once a 2nd division club. Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid appeared to enter a new era in 1996, as they celebrated winning the Copa del Rey and their first La Liga championship since 1977. However, they were forced to move to the Segunda Division only a few years later. Atleti spent a lot after their victory, but despite adding players like Juninho and Christian Vieri, they were never able to duplicate their success. A 13th place finish in the 1998-1999 season followed 2 consecutive 5th place finishes, but that was just the beginning of the suffering that was ahead. Jimmy Floyd Hasselback was brought in as the team's main player over the summer for almost £12 million from Leeds United. But his 24 league goals weren't enough to preserve a team that also featured Santiago Solari and a young Joan Capdevila. Due to allegations of financial mismanagement, club president Jesus Gil and his board were removed from their positions in December. Gil would return 4 months later, but the Madrid team's season was already headed for a disastrous climax, finishing last in the standings and being kicked out of the top division. Juventus. The majority of football fans are aware of Juventus' recent relegation. With one of the most star-studded teams in international football, the club sped to the 2005-06 Scudetto on the strength of 91 points and just a single loss, which came against Milan at San Siro. Alessandro Del Piero, David Trezeguet, Gianluigi Buffon, and Zlatan Ibrahimovic are just some of the well-known athletes who played for the Old Lady during the infamous campaign. The Calciopoli scandal surfaced not long after Juventus' championship winning season was over, and the Turin club was significantly involved. Heavy punishments were imposed after it was discovered that former Bianconeri general manager Luciano Moggi and chairman Antonio Giraldo had taken actions to influence referees in favor of the old lady. Following appeals, Juventus was dropped to Serie B and given a 9-point penalty for the upcoming season. Following the incident, Fabio Cannavaro and Emerson both left the team for Real Madrid, while Gianluca Zambrotta and Lilian Thuram joined Barcelona. Adrian Mutu joined Fiorentina, and Patrick Vieira and Ibrahimovic were sold to rivals Inter. Del Piero, Trezeguet, and Buffon were among the players who remained to help the team quickly advance from Serie B, and just a few years later their dominance in the league would start again. AC Milan. Juventus is currently the most well-known club to have been demoted due to a scandal, but it's not the only one. Way back, AC Milan was also engaging in these unethical practices. The Italian Giants won the European Cup for the first time in their history in 1963 with a 2-1 victory over Benfica. But controversy soon followed. The Rossoneri was relegated for the first time in their history in the 1979-1980 season, despite finishing outside the relegation zone. This was due to a match-fixing scandal that involved many of their players, including Paolo Rossi, who was suspended for 2 years. Villarreal. In the 2011-2012 season, Villarreal had a team that everyone desired, led by the formidable attack duo of Giuseppe Rossi and Nilmar, who scored 29 goals and gave 8 assists the previous season. Despite the summer sale of Santi Cazorla, the Yellow Submarine's future was still looking promising as they advanced via the playoff round to the Champions League group stage in August of 2011. However, the club season would end in a heartbreak. Due to 2 severe knee injuries, Rossi missed almost the whole season, and Nilmar was plagued by ailments and never managed to maintain consistency. Without a decent offense to push adversaries back, the defense also failed miserably. Villarreal went through 3 head coaches as they lost all 6 of their Champions League games, scored just twice while giving up 14 goals, and crawled to the bottom of the Spanish top division in the 18th position. Leeds United. Leeds United found themselves in the Champions League semi-finals in May of 2001. However, they were defeated by Valencia and were unable to go to the final round. Although the Whites lost the match on aggregate by a score of 3-0, their outstanding performance in Europe's most prestigious competition had them optimistic about their future. However, it marked the start of the end for Leeds. Leeds failed to make it into the competition the following season after finishing in 4th place in the Premier League, leaving the club without the money to pay back loans taken out in anticipation of a windfall that never materialized. The following season, Leeds would once more be denied a spot in the Champions League, which led to a dire turn in the club's economy. The sale of Rio Ferdinand and Robbie Keane in the summer of 2002 foreshadowed the impending decline. Robbie Fowler and Jonathan Woodgate were also sold mid-season for desperately needed capital injections, which caused Leeds to fall to the 15th position. When assets were sold off and the weaker team was relegated to the 2003-04 season, the club's downward spiral was complete. Liverpool. Liverpool FC is the second most successful club in England with 48 titles under their belt, but the Merseyside team has not always enjoyed unbroken success. Since its founding in 1892, the Reds have been relegated from English football's top division 3 times. However, despite their most recent relegation occurring more than 65 years ago, they are still a constant fixture in the Premier League. No manager has been relegated more than once with the Reds, and each of the club's 3 relegations is distinct from the other. Additionally, they have never been demoted in consecutive seasons. The club's most recent relegation occurred in 1954, while Don Welsh was in charge. They finished last out of 22 teams and 5 points outside of safety. As a result, the team experienced its longest stretch away from English football's top division. Spending 8 seasons in the second division in 1961 to 1962, the famous Bill Shankly's second full season in command, they finally secured their comeback. He'd guide the Reds into a brand new era in their first 4 years. Liverpool would go on to win the first division twice and contribute to Manchester United's relegation too. Which club on this list shocked you the most? Is your team on it? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you in the next one.